hot during the daytime hours. Our daytime highs around 98 and 99 degrees with lows near 67 and mostly clear skies. That's your weather forecast for this hour from KCAA, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM. 3-in-1, the trifecta of talk in Southern California.
Miss your favorite show? Download the podcast at kcaaradio.com.
Exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into my weekly talk radio show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at naturally high noon here out of the Sunset Hour Studios in Hollywood, California with Universal Broadcasting Network. And then every Thursday at 7, Saturday at 1 on my syndicated CNBC, NBC News Radio channel, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and now everywhere syndicated on iHeartRadio. And this is a show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K-words, no Kardashian talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your reality show, yourself, and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So all my shows and topics are to that end. And as usual, I'm going to start with a shout out to the Long Beach Jazz Festival that has splattered me all over the news it always coincides with my birthday. And yes, this is my birthday episode for this year. I am turning ageless. So I usually sing happy birthday to everybody else, so I'm not going to sing it to myself. But I am grateful for all of the happy birthday shout outs, especially from my older daughter, who was not supposed to arrive until Saturday. I was supposed to pick her up at the airport, and she tricked me one more time and came home early because she wanted to be here for my birthday on Thursday. So peace in and peace out to my beautiful daughter, Chloe May Carpenter, my other daughter, Sarah Way Carpenter, and I do love, that's one of my favorite days, is my birthday and Mother's Day. So, oh, that's so cute. Thank you, Jarvis. There's a little bit of love for me here. Yeah, I am ageless because I'm like the most Asian women. We look 10 to 15 years younger than we actually are until we hit like 68, and then we go directly to 100. So I can say that. All right. And now a peace shout out for a couple of other people. Jarvis is laughing. My new bingo teachers, Ty and Joe, and to all the fabulous life travelers I met last week through and out of Orlando, Florida. Excellent customer service to the LAX TSA, Delta Airlines, Jonathan at the Wyndham Garden Buena Vista Disney Springs Resort, and then all of my favorite students and faculty at the CEO Space International #1 business conference, according to Inc. and Forbes, and my students in particular who were kind enough to give me an almost perfect 5 score, 4.9, with lots of compliments on my evaluations. In fact, the worst that says, how could you improve? And they were kind enough to say to have more of me and longer. So that is definitely a compliment. Got to entertain the troops on the piano as well. You can get all of this footage when you go to my Dr. Marissa Facebook and give me the finger, thumbs up, haha, and then you can follow along. I try to make things as hope and happiness related to practice what I teach. Now, I also had I wanted a specific piece in and out to my balanced Tai Chi Gong students there, as well as the teen program that was there for the week. They are awesome. I got to learn new card games, including King's Corner. I'll be having some of them on my Christmas show, and you'll also be seeing some of the entrepreneurs from CEO Space who have wanted to have me design and produce a show around them. So I've got one on malaria solution, concussion solution, education and entrepreneurs from underprivileged communities, as well as the kids' ideas on how to be in their unique talent, gift, and ability in this planet today for their lives. So if you'd like to tune in, just keep this show on your dial, and it is everywhere now. So Dr. Marissa, if you missed my show with Nitro from American Gladiators, you can get that all on YouTube, so you can support me there. And subscribe, of course, and give me the finger. All right, and I was so impressed by this particular entrepreneur. I actually met him in an earlier CEO space that I wanted to have him on the show, because it's not every day that you meet someone who is in the wisdom years, who is climbing mountains. And not only climbing mountains, he holds the Guinness World Book records for the oldest to have completed all 7 summits. And his name is Werner Berger. I can't think of a better person to bring on to celebrate my birthday about being ageless. So please welcome to the studio, Werner Berger. Hello, my dear.
Hi, Dr. Marissa. Happy birthday. I didn't even know it was coming up.
Yes, I understand that you and Heshi are going to give me a surprise on the actual day on Thursday, so I'll be looking forward to that. But I'm so happy to have you on the air with me. I still, in doing research with what you've done, and you are now 80 years old. A couple of weeks ago, you just finished climbing Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa again. You not only have done the 7 summits and hold that record, you want to beat your own record. I don't know how you're going to do that, but do that again. So let's just start at the beginning. When did you actually start? Were you born knowing that you wanted to do this as a goal? When did that happen?
It happened rather late in life. In fact, in 1953, when Hillary and Norgay Tenzing got to the top of Everest, I was extremely excited as a farm kid. And none of the other kids seemed to make much of it. But over the years, I didn't have the intent of climbing until one day I was sitting in a self-development workshop, and this was 1989, and the guy in front said, "What would you like to do before you die, but you don't think you would ever do?" And out of the air popped climb Kilimanjaro, climb to Everest Base Camp, and of course climb the Matterhorn, which is this beautiful mountain in Switzerland. Never ever thinking it would happen, except that about 2 years later, my second oldest son, who's really an adventurous spirit, said, "Hey, Dad, you wanted to climb to Everest Base Camp. Why don't we go?" So we went, and this was 1992, and I just completely fell in love with the mountains, fell in love with the activity, fell in love with this beautiful earth that we are a part of.
That's fabulous. Just describe to me, I'm going to close my eyes, describe what it was like the first time that you got to the first summit. What did that feel like? What did it smell like? What did it look like? And I'm going to pretend I'm there with you. Go ahead.
The first summit was actually not a summit. It was Everest Base Camp. However, just standing in the valleys in the Himalaya and seeing these phenomenal mountains towering on each side of you, and you're standing in about 70-degree temperatures and sunlight, and they're growing potatoes with terraced farming because of the slopes. And the top of these mountains are snow-covered, and they are so pristine and so beautiful that it's really hard not to just stand there with your mouth open and just saying, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah, literally.
Am I really here?
And how old were you then? How old were you then?
I was 55.
55. So the AARP card on top of the Everest Base Camp. Now, so at that point you decided, I want to do something. I want to do something different. But just describe, what were you doing? Because I read somewhere, I don't know if it was Steve Farber's interview of you, that you were you retired at 45. You have a bachelor's in engineering, you have a master's in business. You were restless, bored. What was that?
I was actually burnt out. I had found myself, or this was my conversation, that I'm in this business, and the main thing I'm doing is I'm working for my employees and keeping them engaged, keeping them getting an income. And there wasn't much fulfillment left for me. So I decided I could just sell off the business and literally retire. The only problem is I didn't retire to something. I retired from something. And literally for the next 2 years, I lost who this guy Werner Berger is. I really had no sense of,
Right.
could I make a contribution? And I was 43, 44 at the time.
Yep.
And just gradually dug my way back out. And then just one day had this idea of climbing, as I mentioned. And when I got to Everest Base Camp with my son, I was just so overwhelmed by the possibility of life. Just knew I wanted to go higher. I wanted to go more remote. It was a life-changing experience.
Yeah. So the last 26 years, you have climbed consecutively every single summit, and you take now people who want to catch your a second lease on life, or what it sounds like what you went through, I would call a midlife, not crisis, but a midlife opportunity to do something more, right? So now you are climbing the summits, you're taking people as a guide, you call yourself a mountaineer. Yes. And then on top of that, you realize that you've picked up some lessons, right? Some life lessons that you also have created a leadership development program. Tell us about that.
I'd been a corporate consultant for now about 30 years. And the one thing that I learned, that with the best technologies, most leadership training, even though essential, doesn't really work because you cannot train cognitive learning to become part of who the person is being. And leaders are known not by what they say, but who they are being when they are doing what they are doing. And in my climbing on the mountains, I really got to know who I was at a very, very different level.
Yes.
And of course, the game is not over because I'm still growing, I'm still learning. And I really wanted this for other people. And that's what started me taking people on what I call high altitude hikes or transformational life experiences.
Great.
And bar none, they come back with the same comments that I came back with. Wow,
Yeah.
this was a life-changing experience.
Yeah. Does anybody think you're crazy?
Oh, totally. In fact, they don't
Okay,
know
just
me,
checking.
they know it.
I'm not saying I think you're crazy. I'm just wondering if there's any of your family or anybody who just says you're nuts, or what are you doing, risking your life, and isn't this do you have a doctor that tells you you're crazy? What's that like? I have a feeling it doesn't really matter.
My family has come to grips with the fact that I'm nuts.
Okay.
So that's okay. That's out of the way. And so what I'm left with is them cheering me on, and I just love that.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Pretty amazing. So now your plan is, why do it again? Because you just didn't have a good enough time the first time?
This time it's about making a much, much bigger difference. The purpose of me redoing the 7 summits, and I'm calling it Quest 736, 7 continents, 7 summits, 36 months. And the tagline is, the game is not over. To inspire people, whatever their age, to live their lives with greater passion, greater purpose, a greater focus on their health. Because if you don't have your health, ultimately you have nothing. And of course, ultimately, greater enjoyment. That's what we all seek. We want to be healthy. We want to enjoy life. We want to be happy. We want to make a difference. So if I can inspire people at my age to say, oh gosh, if that old fellow can do this,
Yeah.
what am I stopping myself from doing?
That's beautiful. If you've just tuned in, you are listening to Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa. And today's guest to help me celebrate my appearance day around the planet is Werner Berger, who at 80 years of age just completed climbing Mount Kilimanjaro for the second time, or maybe more than that, but he's on his second quest to go through all 7 summits again. He's already won the Guinness World Book of Records for the oldest person alive to have done that, and now he's going for it the second time. And then the great thing about the second time is you're taking people with you. You're taking people who want to really discover who they are, is what I'm understanding. So that a quest for the human being, not the human doing that most of us do. And I was blessed to actually have Werner in my first class. I'm new faculty at CEO Space International, and it was a great class. I really enjoyed having all of them with me, and I know I got the high marks because I told all of you before you filled out the evaluations that you're the best class that I've ever worked with, and it worked. But when you were going through that class, did you have some understanding even further? Just not about like that whole who are you and what do you want? I think that's what you're doing to help people get in touch with that. Because if you just keep doing, you do this, do that, do, and you get into do, right?
Yeah, and by the way, you did not get your high marks because of you prompting them.
Oh, good.
You got your high marks because of the interactive, really focused presentation. And there's only one word. You were in the zone.
Oh, thank
when
you.
somebody is really present, literally, and teaching what they know, not what they've read, it comes across in a very, very different way.
Yeah.
And there's no question that every single person in that room had an experience that they will take back with them.
That's awesome.
Once you experience something, it's not like just having learned it up here, but not really being able to translate that into everyday life. Now becomes yours, and you did a fabulous job of that.
Thank you. I'll pay you later. So, so let's go back to. You obviously have a little accent, so let's talk about that and how you grew up and sort of who are you as you knew yourself before. Sprech Deutsch, ja. Ich habe 3 Jahre in die Schule Deutsch gelernt. I think you're German, correct? Yes.
Correct. My parents came from Germany, emigrated to South Africa prior to the Second World War, and I was born before the war. And then my dad was interned for the next 6 years, very similar to the Japanese being interned here in North America. So we didn't see him for that length of time. And when he came out, he had the option of living on a farm in the far northern part of South Africa or being repatriated to Germany. So we became farm kids.
Wow.
Without running water, without electricity, without telephones, and of course without television. But, we didn't miss them because we just had a fabulous time playing and doing things and learning about nature and stuff like that.
So what were you told on why your father was away?
Oh, I knew that he was away because he was not a naturalized South African. And I knew that Germany was at war with the Allied forces. So, yeah, that was no secret.
Did you, and then when he came back, how was he and how was your relationship?
It was not the best. And it never really healed to the extent that a father and son would wish it to heal because he came back as a stranger. And I don't know if his Germanness or his internment over the 6 years caused him to be fairly autocratic. So there was not much give and take. And he was a phenomenal entrepreneur, a phenomenal inventor. And even, in farming where you have a lot of ups and downs, he just kept trying major projects to the point where even a young kid that wasn't that enamored by him was really respectful of this capability.
Right. And now you can see that your entrepreneurial spirit is one of the beautiful things that came from him, no matter how that relationship was. I just got a feeling, though, that he's like really proud of what you're doing and from wherever he is. And that, this is, I'm not a big fan of death being the end. So I'm a believer that there is more, and there was more, and this is just this chapter called life, and that death is just a transition, and that his role was to birth in you all the unique talents, gifts, and abilities, and his autocratic nature, I think, you're one of the most heart-centered, connecting men that I think I've ever met. Especially, you don't follow the stereotype of the autocratic, older, white, leader, do as I say or you're fired. So I think that gift that he gave you of the contrast was so apparent in you. So I'd like to thank him for helping you develop into that as I move from the class into practice here, right? Because we talked about that many of us just get stuck in that pain of the past, when if we can just sort of switch it to ask what was developed as a result of exactly what has happened. So, and I do that as a compliment to you too. It is a joy to have gotten to know you and meet you and now have this connection and a friendship. So, 谢谢.
Thank you. There's no question that he was a really powerful role model. And the nice part here was he was very much balanced by my mother, who was extremely caring. Literally the contrast to him. So
you had the yin and the yang.
Or growing up between the two certainly had value.
Beautiful. And I see that a lot now in your partnership with your beautiful wife. And she is going to be on my show later on this year. I think we're going to do a Thanksgiving show. And we're actually going to hear a commercial because she's sponsoring you on this show today, because I wanted to highlight some of the work that she's doing. So let's give her a little commercial. So you met this beautiful woman, and she said the other day, it was kind of funny, I never thought of it that way, but you're German and she's the Jew, so a German and a Jew are having this beautiful relationship. What is her work, and how is that sort of dovetailing with yours?
Well, her work is really amazing. If you want to talk about somebody with heart, her commitment is in an elite, and kids growing up as the CEOs of their lives. And when we first went to Africa, she realized how little some kids have and how it becomes really hard to develop without having the basic necessities of health, of clothing, of shelter, of food. And her mission is to make sure that the 5,000 children that die every single day from drinking contaminated water, that gets reversed. So her initial commitment is to have 1 million water bottles that purify any water, and it doesn't matter what pool it comes out of, and provides clean drinking water for the longevity and the health.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful marriage of your adventure and your goals, and then she's there and she has birthed her own dream and her own unique place with her gifts and talents, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, when, for example, we go to Africa, we go on safari together, and then I take my team to climb. And during the 7 days that we're on the mountain, she is with her orphans, and they really are her kids. I know this because every time we leave, there are tears in her eyes, but there are also tears in the kids' eyes.
That's
And
beautiful.
supporting them, helping them sustain themselves and also create a future for themselves.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So let's go back to your climbing. I do want to talk about the nuts part. So I really would like to know what your doctors are saying about you doing these things, because it is at a very different height altitude. And I don't know what your health background is. Have you always been healthy?
I have always been healthy.
Okay.
I've had a couple of issues, but never serious ones. And partly it comes from the fact that I learned about 25, 30 years ago that our foods tend to be nutritionally, I'm going to get that out right. And the only way to counteract that is not only to eat right, but to supplement. And that's just made a huge difference in my life.
So
and
that
then also learning that there's an incredible difference in the supplementation that can be purchased on the open market.
okay, so you're not
Very, very little value to a lot of value.
okay. So 25 years ago, you started eating differently. So for my listeners, if you're listening and you want to last not just till you're 80, but to be able to climb summits, let's have some diet tips now. What kind of nutrition-rich foods do you eat, and what do you stay away from?
Well, anything green is really critical. For the longest time, I stayed away from red meat.
Okay.
I've started eating some red meat again because there's some proteins and some elements that are hard to assimilate or get if I'm not eating meat.
Okay.
But kale, spinach, vegetables of all sorts. I'm taking a shake or doing a shake, again, a highly nutritious shake in the morning. Occasionally I'll do oatmeal, which I really enjoy.
Okay.
But there's, again, more nutritional value in the shake that I have.
Mm-hmm.
So basically that's the breakfast of most mornings.
Okay.
And then as many fruits and vegetables as I can handle. And sometimes it's not as many as I would like. But again, and the other element is really clean water, because our water systems are not conducive to health, even though, we filter them through grittas and get rid of the chlorine. But the question is, do we get rid of the chemicals that exist in our water systems? And the answer is no,
Okay.
for the most part.
Right, right. Now, the supplements that you're talking about, you can get them anywhere. You don't have to have a specific company that provides them. What has to be in the supplement?
I actually utilize supplements from a specific company.
Okay.
Because when I look at the best known ones, and I know that there's a word, something like century or one per month, but both of those have an extremely low value rating. We're talking about a 1.9% in the one case and a 3.2 to a maximum of 5% in another.
Okay.
And there are supplements on the market that are in excess of 90%. So I'm certainly opting for the higher ones, because although the other ones are much cheaper, by the time you get the ingredients that you need, they are 10 times more expensive than the quality ones.
So we won't ask those ones to sponsor your show.
No.
But I guess I know they're going to be asking me later. So what's the one that you use? We can give them a little love.
Okay, the company is called RX, and it's called it's spelled ARIIX, and they are also the manufacturers of the Purity water system. And Purity is spelled not with a Y, but with a double I. And they have other products as well. So we really are a boutique company where somebody might want to specialize only in water, or only in essential oils, or only on skincare products. They actually take these away, and I don't use them, but some people use them and are just totally thrilled with the way that the bags go away.
Great. I'm going to go after them for sponsorship fee. No, that's great. But speaking of which, it is time to break to thank the sponsors of today's show. And so I'll be back in 2 and 2. Peace in and peace out. Four, three, 2, 1, and another child dies. Yes, every 4 seconds, someone dies from drinking contaminated water, and that's the bad news. The good news is that the Purity filtration system provides clean, fresh, and safe drinking water, and for every 2 water bottles sold, 1 is shipped to a child in need. Contact Heshy Siegel at kidsbetterworld.com for this win-win-win, life-giving answer to contaminated water today. That's Heshy, Hie, Siegel, Segal, at kidsbetterworld.com. Do you live in Southern California? Want a great car wash with an instant discount? Want to save big on a car detail? Then mention Dr. Marissa at the Cypress Car Spa for up to $40 off of a professional detail package and any $4 off any wash. Cypress Car Wash is located at the corner of Valley View and Cerritos, 6000 Cerritos Avenue. So get ready to save. Mention Dr. Marissa at Cypress Car Spa and save today. And we are back. Welcome to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at naturally high noon here out of the Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood, California. And then every Thursday at 7, Saturday at 1 on my syndicated CNBC NBC News Radio channel KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and everywhere on iHeartRadio. And today is a special day. I am celebrating my birthday week for this year, my 6th year on the air. Just finished today is my 274th consecutive week on the air. I'm so grateful. I have over 96,000 views on YouTube. Thanks to you all supporting me. Thank you for celebrating my birthday, and with my very special guest, who I can't think of anyone better, but someone who has gone way beyond my years, which is ageless, and that is Warner Berger, who doesn't look 80 and certainly doesn't walk like he's 80. He walks like a man who has won Guinness World Book Records at least once. He's going for a second time on the oldest person who has climbed all 7 summits across the world. So let's go through them, because I don't know what the 7 summits are. So I think that's a good geography lesson for me. Okay, so peace. I know it's Kilimanjaro. That's one. And where is that? That's in Africa.
Correct. Mount Elbrus is in Russia.
Okay.
Mount Vinson is in the Antarctic.
Okay.
Kosciuszko is the tiny little molehill in Australia, and it gets replaced by Karsten's Pyramid in Indonesia. Then there's McKinley, also called Denali in North America. There's Aconcagua in South America, Mount Elbrus in Europe.
I must have miscounted. I got 8 there.
Now you did get 8 because
okay,
although
good.
I did Kosciuszko, it gets replaced by Karsten's Pyramid because it's still on the Australasian continental shelf.
Oh.
And so climbers say, oh, Kosciuszko is not worth climbing, let's do Karsten's. And Karsten's is a wonderful climb, but it's really, really difficult to get to. 6 days of jungle trekking.
Oh, I see. Now, any one of those, when you were doing the 7 summits, did you ever feel like giving up?
Oh, a couple of times.
Okay. So where?
McKinley is extremely difficult because you do not go with any porters or Sherpas. You carry about 55 pounds on your back, and you drag another 55 or 60 pounds on a sled behind you. The jungle trek to getting to Karsten, 6 days of rain, mud, steep slopes, you name it.
Wow.
Beaches, river crossings, not just traverses, but walking up a river to get to where you're going was extremely hard.
Okay. And so, go ahead.
Then Everest Base Camp, actually my first day going from base camp to Camp 1 through the icefall was also extremely difficult because it was just a really hard day for me.
Right.
But the next 2 days that we did the same thing, or the next 2 times, it was significantly easier.
Right. Now,
Just-
what was your head saying when you were ready to give up? So this goes back to our class. Was your critic activated? Was your critic saying, "What are you trying to do? This is crazy. You're too old for this. Why are you trying to prove something to someone?" Any of that? What were the voices saying?
All of that.
I'm in your head again.
Plus, what the heck am I doing here? What am I trying to prove? I could be
Right.
sitting at home in an armchair watching TV, or I could be just relaxing and reading a book somewhere.
Yeah. So what?
Right?
So what was your answer? Why are you doing that?
Because it's there. It's the only comment that really can be made. The other one is, it's okay. All I have to do is one step at a time. All I have to do is one step at a time. And on Everest, I flew a kite on top of Everest. So I kept visualizing myself flying my kite on the highest point on Earth.
Did you
And
do that?
visualization and the one step at a time got me through.
Right. Did you actually fly the kite at the top?
I did.
Do you have video of that?
I absolutely do.
Where can I find the video? On your YouTube or on your website?
You can find it on a commercial that my producers did when I was wanting to create a movie to change North American health, and I can certainly send you the link.
Oh, that would be great. I'm sure my listeners would love that too. And speaking of how to find you, there's several ways, right? Go ahead. On
Well,
Facebook.
one of them is on Facebook, just looking for Werner Berger, WERNER, BERGER, and looking for the guy with his hands in the air. Another possibility is Twitter, looking for Everest Guy. Yeah, that's the Facebook one.
Okay.
The other possibility is email, Werner at quest736.com. And I know that there's another one. I'm also on LinkedIn under Werner
There you
Berger.
go. Great. And the website will be up soon. But in the meantime, you can connect with him on all those social media sites. And I think there's an ability to also support you in this quest with some donation links as well. And certainly to support your wife's work with buying for every 2 bottles that we buy, we give 1 to a child so they do not have to die from contaminated water. And it's actually a really good looking bottle. I forgot to ask for one to bring, but it's very clear, and it also helps us stop the unnecessary waste of the plastic water bottles. So it's a great way to support you as well. I think because you and Heshi are a team, and I think it's wonderful what she's doing as well as what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yes. So what would you tell anyone right now who is saying, yeah, but I'm overweight, or I don't have the funds, or I don't have the time, or I don't really want to climb a mountain? But what would your words to them be as far as it's not too late?
Yeah, it would start with, it's never too late. And your mountain might not be the same as my mountain. You might not be looking for a physical mountain. But if you're thinking of losing weight, you can look upon that as your Everest. And the only question is, if you're really serious about losing weight, what is it that I need to do to get to the ideal health? And it's not really about losing weight. It's about becoming healthy. Or if I'm really committed to my business, the question is, what am I creating? Or what is it that I want to create in my business? And what difference will that make? And once you have defined your ideal weight or whatever you're attempting to accomplish, step into that future and look back at today and ask yourself, what are all of the things that I had to do to get here? It's a flip from what do I need to do to get there? Because all we can see from the present is problems, as opposed to stepping in the future and looking back at today and asking ourselves, what did I need to do to get here? So that is definitely one of the most profound and most powerful way that even corporations solve problems these days.
Having that vision in front of them. So did you vision that you were standing at the top of the summits with your arms in the air, is my guess? That was your goal.
Absolutely, especially when I had that really, really hard day on Everest. Just kept looking and thinking of myself flying a kite on top and just saying it's just one step at a time.
Right,
And
right.
that day passed and the next days were easier. By the way, people don't know that you climb up and you climb down, you climb up and you climb down, you climb up and you climb down when you're on Everest. That's why it took 50 days to get to the top. It's not just a case of going to the mountain, climbing. You have to allow the body to change its chemistry to adapt to the lower oxygen level.
What? Oh, wow. I've learned something new. I love learning new things. So say that again. So you don't go from here to climb Everest. You go up and then down back to where you came from?
Correct.
And then
I'll give you the exact sequence and I'll make it really quick.
Okay.
It takes 10 days to get to Everest Base Camp.
Yes.
Once you're acclimatized, it takes 2 days. Then we wait for about 4 days at that altitude, climb high during the day, but not on Everest. It's just simply to get altitude, sleep low. Then we climb to Camp 1 overnight, go to camp, stay overnight, and then climb to Camp 2, stay a day and 2 nights, come back to base camp. We spend another 4 or 5 days climbing high during the day, sleeping low at base camp. Then we climb all the way from base camp to Camp 2, spend an extra day there, climb to Camp 3 at 23,000 feet, come back to 2, come back to base, come all the way back out to the 12,000 foot level. Spend 3 days there, hydrating like crazy, eating as much as you can, sleeping as much as you can so that the body recuperates. Then it takes us 2 days to get to base camp again. And then it's just a case of going from base camp to Camp 2, spending a day, going to Camp 3, going to Camp 4, leaving at 9 o'clock at night, heading for the summit, being at the summit at daybreak, hopefully no later than 12. Turnaround time is 12, coming back to high camp, and then 6 days later, we're back in civilization.
Okay, so a couple things. Number one, I will never be joining you.
That's okay.
On any of this.
Base camp, though.
I'm allergic to hiking. Okay, the word just bothers me, so definitely not. But now that you told me that, I'm just like, forget it. And then number two, like, how did someone figure? I'm afraid to ask how someone figured out this formula, because it sounds like some people, like me, I would go, I can do it. I can do anything, and I'll just go all the way up. And how many people had to lose their life to figure out that you can't do that, and that you have to do this. This is the best example I've ever heard of 1 step forward and 2 steps back ever. I mean, how did someone figure this out?
Really by trial and error. And Edmund Hillary was one of the key people to really start recognizing that.
And how long ago?
Physicians stepped into play and started taking blood oxygen levels and just seeing, what happens. What happens when the chemistry of the body, the blood actually has to change to build more red blood cells. And by stressing the body and then coming back to homeostasis, that allows the body to adapt.
Wow. I'm afraid to ask how many people have lost their lives there. Do we know?
I don't know the exact number at this point, but approximately 400 is the last that I knew.
Wow. Well, I'm glad y'all have the formula. I'm glad for you, since you're going to do that again. When are you planning to do that mountain summit?
2020.
2020. So is it your last one? Is it
It'll
the last
one?
It'll be
I'm
the
doing
crowning
a summit
glory.
basically every 6 months.
Wow.
And I'm taking people on what I call high altitude hikes to Everest Base Camp, top of Kilimanjaro, across an Inca trail to Machu Picchu in Peru.
I did that one.
During that period.
I did that one last year.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's
the
gorgeous.
cultural experience alone
Yes.
is amazing.
Okay, good. So I did do something. Beautiful. So my last question is what I ask my guests is, who would you like to thank? Who helps you be who you are and do all you are? Anyone you want to give some gratitude to?
Well, absolutely. My wife, Heshi, who totally supporting what I do. My children, for certain, because I've got a very close relationship with them.
That's
I
beautiful.
just absolutely adore them.
How many? How many?
Four.
Four? What?
Yeah.
Okay.
One adopted, 3 of them natural.
That's great. Great. And anyone else?
My ex-wife, she was a phenomenal mother to my kids, and she really taught me what parenting needs to be about, because I was starting to model, what I had experienced from my dad. And I realized that that's not necessarily the best way to have kids grow up with high self-esteem. And so she bullied me into becoming more human, and I thank her to this day.
Oh, that's beautiful. I'm glad I asked you that question because even, our job is just to do a little bit better than our parents, right?
Oh, you bet.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. Oh, Asian Oprah giveaway. You are kind to give a CD called Climb High, Instructions for Success in Life and Business. So you've kindly offered that as the Asian Oprah giveaway. So for the first 5 people to come to my, you can do LinkedIn or YouTube or to Facebook or my website, the number 4balance.org. And I'll just pick the first 5 and then get back to you and let you know who the winners are to get that free CD. Thank you, Xie, for that gift, and Xie for coming on the air to celebrate my birthday with me.
Certainly my pleasure.
Yay. And that was Werner Berger. And we wish him all the best as he continues on with the second round of Guinness World Book of Records to go to the 7 summits. It is the end of the show, wrapping up with my balance bar, where I invite you to step up to more balance. It is day 8 on the 21-day fast from complaining with Dr. Marissa, and the balance tip for today is it's really difficult to complain if you are complimenting people as you drive by them in life. So find 8 people that you can give a compliment to today. It is much easier to love your life when you have compliments instead of complaints in your mouth. And 8, everybody always asks, why do you do all the 8s? It's a homonym in Chinese, which is a homonym for good fortune. So I want you to have good fortune while you're complimenting people as well. Let's see. This week I am not teaching Tai Chi Gong, as I am actually going down to do a day of leadership with the GCCCD Community College, so I will not be there. So please do make sure you find out my schedule if you go to my website, the number 4balance.org, for Balance Tai Chi Gong classes. I will be working on my book, 8 Ways to Happiness. And for those of you who don't know, I'm super grateful to have a contract. It will be coming out next year in August for my birthday. So you can look forward to 8 Ways to Happiness. As well, don't forget to get my app, which goes with the 21-day fast from complaining on both stores. Just put in Dr. Marissa Pay and you'll find it. Made by teenagers, and all proceeds from all of my Balance products go to my peace work around the planet. So thank you so much. Next week, it is that time of the month. Yes, it is call-ins, and it's Dr. Marissa, the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura, and my fabulous producer Jarvis Essex helps me be kind by not making you wait in line before the show. So contact him if you would like some advice that I don't use for balancing your life tires and smog checking your stinking thinking. Please do contact him at jsessex13@aol.com, and you'll be put on the call-in list so you can get some free advice. And if you have a small business, you're also invited to sign up, because I'll give you some time to give a free shout out for that. I am grateful. I'm going to do 8 compliments right now. I am going to compliment my daughter Sarah for being so sweet and my daughter Chloe for being so amazingly organized. And she's just finished her internship with MD Anderson. Doing cancer research. She's getting her name on 3 different papers as a 19-year-old. So that's pretty awesome. And thank you for coming back for my birthday. I am going to compliment my my other mom and dad, Dolores and Graham Martin, for the beautiful role that they have in my life, supporting me. As well, a compliment to my birth mom, Rose, who taught me how to be as strong as I am, and brought me my Chinese heritage. To my beautiful father, who's on the other side, Dr. David Pei. I love you. I feel your support. I know I can still fall into you, even though you're on the other side. I think I'm on number 5. To all the staff and Tony Sweet at Universal Broadcast Network, which has supported me now for over 4 years, to all of the staff at KCAA, my CNBC syndicated news radio channel, for Fred, the owner, Mark, the station manager, and all of the staff that helped make my show a success. And finally, let's see. Oh, my UPS man, my universal power source, who I call my God or my source, who I plug into every morning when I pray and meditate. Thank you for this amazing thing called my life. I am just so grateful for what I get to do on the air. I'm grateful for all the work that I get to do now, even writing, and I'm just so grateful. And I'm grateful for you, most of all of you who are looking at my face right now, listening to my voice later on when you download the podcast, following me, liking me. I have amazing support systems on this planet today, and I am grateful. I'm grateful to share my birthday with you. So remember, keep it tuned to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at Naturally High Noon, Thursday at 7 if you missed it today live, Saturday at 1, because it is all about balance. And this is Dr. Marissa Pei, P for positive, EI. Peace in and peace out.
The other stations claim to be local.
Yeah, right.
KCAA Radio, the only true local radio station on your radio dial.
This is Dick from Carpet Masters. Carpet Masters has been serving the Inland Empire for over 60 years. We are locally owned and operated by the Stevens family. We not only clean carpet and furniture, we clean many loose rugs, including Oriental rugs. Oriental rugs are cleaned in our modern facility where the fringes are cleaned by hand, then hung in our modern facility to dry. We do not use steam cleaning to clean your fine furniture. Furniture is cleaned by hand using the same absorption cleaning used in the White House. Some furniture we bring into our plant to clean properly. We normally use 2 men on each cleaning job using the extraction method. There is nothing that will clean carpet better for our customers. Our job is to clean properly with quality first. Google Carpet Masters San Bernardino and give us a call, or go to carpetmasterssocal.com.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
Stardate, August 10th. One of the problems with planets in other star systems is they don't just walk up to you and tell you their life stories. But a mammoth telescope that's being developed now should help with the introductions. When it's completed in the next decade, it will allow astronomers to actually see planets around nearby stars. They won't see any details, only points of light near the stars. But the view will be good enough to learn if the planets have atmospheres and whether the atmospheres show any evidence of life. GMT, the Giant Magellan Telescope, will be built in the Andes Mountains of Chile. It's being developed by a consortium that includes the University of Texas at Austin. When it's completed in the next decade, its main mirror will span 80 feet, more than twice the size of anything in operation today. That mirror will collect several times more light than any current telescope, allowing it to view objects that are fainter and farther away. And it'll see them more clearly than even Hubble's Space Telescope. In addition to studying exoplanets, astronomers will use GMT to look for the first stars in the universe. The stars flared to life soon after the Big Bang. They probably were quite heavy, so they would have burned out and exploded in a hurry. They seeded the universe with the first heavy elements, the elements that make up planets and people, and they triggered the birth of more stars, lighting up the universe. We have more sky-watching tips, astronomy news, and much more about the wonders of the universe in Stardate magazine. Subscription information at stardate.org. I'm Sandy Wood.
What is San Bernardino going to do with the Carousel Mall? Keep track of the mall development and more local news in the San Bernardino City News. Local sports, education, business, and entertainment news in print and online at sanbernardinocitynews.com.
Psst. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Do you know where you are? Well, you've done it now. You're listening to KCAA Loma Linda, your CNBC news station. So expect the unexpected.
Go behind the wheel, under the hood, and beyond with car stuff from HowStuffWorks.com.
Hi, and welcome to Car Stuff. I'm Scott.
I'm Ben. We are joined by our super producer, Alex Williams. Most importantly, you're here, which means we can start the show, ladies and gentlemen. And we have we have a brief thing unrelated to today's episode that we want to catch you up on, and listeners